Well, Arsenal is in for Bruno Guimarães. David Austin breaking the story. Liverpool in for Feyenoord manager Fabrizio Romano confirms that the negotiations are really ongoing. And lastly, we're going to talk about Pochettino on what he's still feeling after Arsenal went ahead to obviously give him a beating of 5-0. Welcome to this channel. This is the Arsenal. This is the Rokani Media Football, and hope you guys are really having a fantastic evening. I come in peace to obviously talk to everyone here and see to it that we bring you the best that you guys deserve as a side of this channel. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're really watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And today we're really having a huge story being broken by David Austin as how Arsenal is so much interested into Bruno Guimarães. Looking like the list of CDMs that Arsenal is looking at is really increasing, and obviously they are really having the best that they do in there for you. Owen Hargreaves has something to say about the comparison of Bruno Guimarães and Douglas Luiz. I'm also going to come in and really have a say about that. And let's see close to 400 likes. Smash on this video and don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum, tomorrow is Juma Kareem. To the Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And let's obviously get going and see how things are really going to pan out. Now, David Austin has told us that then you go into the sort of midfield bracket somebody Arsenal and other clubs really like is Bruno Guimarães. He can play in the 8 and 6 positions. Newcastle will hope to keep hold of him. There is a release clause though. Anyone who is going to take him, he has got to deliver straight away. So David Austin was talking to One Football and he was like, you have to go in for sort of midfield bracket somebody Arsenal and other clubs are really in, meaning that Arsenal like Bruno Guimarães. And I tell you, no club in the world doesn't want to sign Bruno Guimarães because of how he has gone ahead to come up and really act ever since he got himself into action at Newcastle. Bruno Guimarães came in through for like, was it 45 million pounds from France? And I remember, it's not the first time that Arsenal is going in for Bruno Guimarães. Arsenal in I think before they brought in Thomas Partey, they were chasing in for this guy, Even the season of 2022-2023 when he came in through, he was so much linked to the side of Arsenal. And Bruno Guimarães has gone ahead to become a very important player for that side of Newcastle. If you're to talk about the top CDMs in the Premier League, there is no way you don't really see his name there. You talk of Rodri, you talk of Casemiro, you talk of Declan Rice, you talk of Thomas Partey, you talk of Bruno Guimarães, you talk of Paulinho. So being in the list of the top 5 or top 10 CDMs in the Premier League shows you how good this player is and how he's really giving a lot to the side that he's playing in for. That is Bruno Guimarães for you, and no one doubts his qualities because he comes in through to tick all the boxes that Arsenal want into a CDM or a player. And the first of all that Bruno Guimarães goes ahead to obviously hit is being a versatile player. He can play as a number 8, he can play as a 6. So that is what Arteta wants, because if you're having two players, for example, Bruno Guimarães and Declan Rice playing that midfield, that means whichever player wants to go or commit as a number 8 will be left to go, and whichever player stays can do a better job as a CDM. I think that's what Mikel Arteta really wants, and I think that's why they're so much interested and liking the player. He has gone ahead to come through the Premier League, and Bruno Guimarães is still young. He's not all that a very huge grown-up player. He's just 26 years of age, and he was born in Rio de Janeiro on November 16th, 1997, and he has 1.8 meters of a height. So that is good of him. When you look at him, he's not an injury-prone player. Remember, Newcastle signed him in January 2022, and he played 17 games, scored 5 goals and 1 assist. His first full season at Newcastle was in 2022-2023, 32 games, 4 goals and 5 assists. 2023-2024, he has so far played 32 games, 4 goals and 6 assists. That is it. So if a CDM is really giving all those stats, then you know exactly what it means that he's really good to obviously brought into the team to do the needful. His stats are really great, and I think he is energetic. His intensity is really right. He has all the qualities that a CDM is supposed to be having, and that's why I was gonna hit to let you know that he ticks all the boxes that Arsenal are really looking at to sign this player. The other quality, apart from age and his being a multi-dimensional player, Bruno Guimarães is a Premier League proven player. For 2.5 seasons, he has played for the Premier League, and nothing has gone ahead to obviously stop him from obviously becoming the player he is. That is Bruno Guimarães for you. So he's a Premier League proven player. When you look at his tackles and so on and so forth, he's a very good player. And I think right now Arsenal are really having a variety to choose on, because in that midfield area, Arsenal have gone ahead to look at Zubimendi. They've looked at Douglas Luiz. They've looked at Fofana, Moussa, Fofana. They've gone ahead to look at Joshua Kimmich, right? There is a player in Italy, I've forgotten his name. They've gone ahead to obviously look at. But he's also telling us that David Austin, Newcastle will hope to hold on him. But there is a release clause that we are here to obviously get to be told, because we need to know how much is Bruno Guimarães having as a buyout clause into his contract. And I tell you, no player wants to keep himself at the club if at all there is a buyout clause. The moment there is a buyout clause, that means that player wants to really go out and is just using that team as a stepping stone. If you ask me whether Bruno Guimarães is really one of those that wants to really stay at Newcastle, I'll tell you no. No. And if I told you at Newcastle, when you're having Joe Wellington and Sandro Tonali, I think you can easily come out and really see that you do the needful and really sell this guy. If a team can get them close to 80 million pounds or 70, I think they can easily sell this guy. They can easily sell him off, I tell you. They can easily sell this guy off and see to it that he gets to where they deserve to be. So that is Bruno Guimarães for you. So we wait and see what the buyout clause is gonna be, and a lot of other stuff that we are obviously looking at in here. So Bruno Guimarães can partner well with Declan Rice and very many other players that they hate to obviously be playing at Arsenal. But remember, Arsenal is going to be having a huge exodus. I don't think that Thomas Partey is going to be here. That's why you see that Arsenal is set to bring in 2 central midfielders. Even Jorginho might really leave out. Remember, he has offers coming in through from Barcelona, and Barcelona wants to sign him as a free agent and see to it that they really get him along in that midfield of theirs. And I anticipate that Jorginho will obviously make a very good blend with Bernardo Silva, because even Bernardo Silva might move to that side, and Ika Gundogan, as they look to move on Frenkie de Jong. And there is a story of Frenkie de Jong I'm still really trying to make some good research on, that Frank de Jong is available for 60 to 70 million euros. So Arsenal is also linked to Frenkie de Jong. The same applies to Man United. So we wait and see how that is going to pan out, but it's really going to be an interesting bit for us to come in through and obviously watch on it. So Bruno Guimarães for you, I think will be a very good signing for Arsenal. If Arsenal can get in Douglas Luiz and Bruno Guimarães, he's really a very good player. But I was baffled with one of the people that played for my club that I support, Man United, that is Owen Hargreaves. Owen Hargreaves has come out and made this statement that I find very, very, very disturbing in my head. He needs to revise what he's saying. He said Douglas Luiz has put himself into a category now after Rodri, and along with Declan Rice as the elite defensive midfield players in the Premier League. Bruno Guimarães is another one, but Douglas Luiz is better defensively, and that's why I think he's very unique. This is wrong. This is wrong, and I'm going to be forced obviously coming through and really do the stats, the duels, the tackles they make. I tell you, Douglas Luiz is better as a box-to-box midfielder for the club of Aston Villa. If you look at Aston Villa, Boba Kamara has been playing as their CDM, and Douglas Luiz has gone ahead to be playing alongside him. I know Douglas Luiz has qualities of a CDM, but I tell you, Bruno Guimarães is a better player. If you tell me who is a better box-to-box midfielder, I'll tell you Douglas Luiz is. If you tell me who is a better defensive midfielder, I'll tell you Bruno Guimarães is. That's why Arsenal needs to break the bank and really get in this pair. You get? If you're losing, I know El Nini is going, Lokonga is going, Thomas Partey is leaving. You have to really bring in two players of pure quality, and I think Douglas Luiz ticks that box. Then Bruno Guimarães ticks that box. When we ask the price, I tell you Arsenal is going to be spending close to 200 million pounds plus, and if it's to spend 200 million pounds plus, where should they first spend this money? I tell you, Arsenal should first go and really strengthen their midfield, because if you're having players who are really 30 years plus, if you're having players who are really 30 years plus in that midfield, Jorginho and Thomas Partey, then you are not safe. The only way you attain what we call huge safety is by coming up and making a decision that I'm going to bring in two youthful players. Douglas Luiz, I think, is 24, 25, and Bruno Guimarães is 26. So if Douglas Luiz is at 100 million pounds and Bruno Guimarães is at like 70, I think you get that money. You get those two players in like you did on Declan Rice and Kai Havertz, because Kai Havertz came in for 67, almost the same amount of money that Newcastle would want for Bruno Guimarães, and Declan Rice came in for 105, meaning that Arsenal should obviously get in these two and obviously flaunt them and give them a very, very good go in there. So that is Owen Hargreaves for you, but I don't agree with him. I believe that Bruno Guimarães is a better CDM and is a better CDM than Douglas Luiz, and Douglas Luiz is a better number 8 than Bruno Guimarães. Though they can all play both positions, but I think their attributes differ in what position you want to see them really epitomize. If you want to see them capitalize and be integral to your team, Bruno Guimarães should be played as a CDM and Douglas Luiz should be played as a number 8. Bring him in as a CDM at Arsenal will obviously create huge competition in between him and Declan Rice, and then you'll see the best of Declan Rice. And Bruno Guimarães will give Declan Rice a very huge goal for that position, and that's the team I want to see. That's the team I want to see on how competition is really gonna be elite. So we wait and see how that pans out, but we're here to see to it that we wait in. Now, Arne Slot is a manager of Feyenoord. Liverpool moved on from Miguel Almiron. I don't know why, but the reason is really unknown, because if you are a side of Liverpool, I think Miguel Almiron would have gone ahead to serve a better purpose. He has been managing the Champions League, and when you look at Feyenoord this time around, they are really trying to really chase out to go in the Champions League. They'll go in the Champions League, but for them performing in the Champions League was not all that great, and I think he even got knocked out of the UEFA Europa League. So Feyenoord this season has gone ahead to play 30 games. They're having 72 points, and PSV is really up there to obviously clinch that title. And the Eredivisie is having 18 teams, and out of the 18 teams, that means they play 34 games, meaning that they are left with 4 games to go, and PSV is leading the table with 12 points, and they cannot obviously close in. I tell you, this trophy is going to head to PSG. But last season, Arne Slot was the main man behind the performance of the team of Feyenoord. So Fabrizio Romano has told us the following, that Liverpool are already discussing contract terms with Arne Slot, represented by Rafaela Pimenta. This is for the agency of the late Mino Raiola. No issues, as he's super keen. He's given green light to the move on Tuesday after initial positive contact. Meanwhile, Liverpool discussing compensation fee with Feyenoord. So looks like Liverpool is going to obviously identify Arne Slot as the replacement of Jurgen Klopp. And I think the influence of Dutch players as the captain has been really huge, especially the captain of Liverpool, that is Virgil van Dijk. They also have Cody Gakpo in there. So Arne Slot looks like he's going to be the next manager of Liverpool, and very soon we might hear a very huge announcement that things are really going in through, because the moment they are discussing the contract terms and conditions with the manager of Feyenoord and discussing the fee they're going to be giving Feyenoord, that means Feyenoord have gone ahead to give him a green light to obviously leave. And remember, Van Persie has been one of those players, ex-players, that are really doing their coaching badges, and he wants to obviously start coaching. Maybe they might usher him in as a coach of Feyenoord very, very soon. But Arne Slot is a very good manager, and I think he's still young. That is it. And for Feyenoord, when you look at his spell at Feyenoord, he has gone ahead to really have the following. As a manager at Feyenoord, how many games? When did he join Feyenoord? His Wikipedia is really not giving. He's the manager of Feyenoord Rotterdam, and he has gone ahead to do lots of things with Feyenoord. So wait and see how he's going to really come in through and put in a shift in the Premier League, because the Premier League is something different, and he's going to be one of those Dutch managers that are going to have come to really thrive in there for you. Erik ten Hag in the first season performed very well, played in the final of the Carabao Cup, won it, lost to Man City in the final of the FA Cup, got knocked out of the UEFA Europa League at the quarterfinals, and then he finished third in the Premier League. But the second season has been abysmal. Now we are here to wait and see how Arne Slot is going to come in through and put in the required shift into this beautiful encounter of a game. Now let's obviously summarize it up with a story coming in through from Pochettino. Pochettino was asked how he felt after he was embarrassed at the Emirates. He said, "I'm not going to blame the players. The circumstances are bigger than the performance here. We cannot blame young guys that came here after suffering circumstances and came here to fight again, a team fighting for the Premier League. I'm not going to use a word embarrassed. That is unfair to describe our players." So Pochettino is really defending his players, but I tell you, they never did enough. However much Arsenal is a juggernaut, I think they would have gone ahead to really prevent the flow of goals. I think 3 would have been okay, but conceding 5 just goes out to be blown out of proportion. And he's defending his players, and he's talking about how young they are, but the expenditure is really huge. The expenditure is really huge. Now, if at all he knew that they're young players, why didn't he start? Why didn't he start this guy? What's the name? Why didn't he start? Why didn't he go ahead to start? Why did he go ahead to start Thiago Silva? Because Thiago Silva was a variable, and why didn't he go ahead obviously start him? You get? That is the huge question. Why did he start Thiago Silva? Because Thiago Silva was on the bench and he couldn't obviously bring him in the field of play. And how do you really keep out a player of that caliber out of your team when you know you're going to face one of the best teams in the league? So I think he's the one to blame, and I call upon for your reactions onto Arsenal in for Bruno Guimarães. I welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Pochettino saying that he's not going to use the word embarrassed because that is not good for his players? But the fact is, they are embarrassed, they are annihilated, and they got exposed by the side of Arsenal. And lastly, Arne Slot, do you think he's going to make a very good manager at Anfield? Will he fit or foot the boots of this man that has been at the side of Liverpool for close to 8-9 years? That is Jurgen Klopp as his replacement. All that and more into the comment section below. Rokani David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later, and may the living to God bless you abundantly. I'm out. don't forget to subscribe and continue to subscribe to this channel. Lower right bottom corner is the place to be. Smash the black button that has well subscribe. After smashing it, hit the notification bell. That will enable you get notified every time I upload a video onto this channel. We out.